In this film, we will see to what extent a human can be cruel. The story is actually about a lake, not a naturally formed one, but one made by humans. Under this lake, there used to be a village, but someone forcefully created the lake by flooding it. It is said that signs of that village still exist beneath the water, and many curious people and tourists come here to explore. However, they also die in strange ways. So, why does this happen? To understand the story behind all this, let's move forward. At the beginning of the story, a beautiful lake is shown where a group of tourists is on a trip. Among them, a boy tries to impress his new friend by telling her something. He says, "Listen, I found an old map of this lake in the library, and I discovered that there used to be a village beneath this lake. Before the lake was created, people lived there, and even today, the village houses, their belongings, and much more might still be under the lake." But his friend doesn't believe him. He says, "I'll dive in and see. If you want to come, you can." His friend agrees. Then a girl raises her hand and says, "Me too. I'll come too." This girl is actually the boy's sister, and her name is Finn. At this, Finn's brother gets angry at her. He says, "If you want to come, then go around and reach from the other side. I'm trying so hard to impress my friend, and you're trying to ruin my plan?" To this, Finn replies, "I have nothing to do with your plan or impressing your friend, but the story you told about the drowned village sounds very interesting. I also want to see that drowned village." Hearing this, her brother agrees, and both of them jump into the lake. The water isn't too deep there, so they go a bit further down and start swimming, hoping they might find something. When they need to breathe, they come up, take a breath, and dive back in. At one point, they find a bicycle. Then her brother also finds a small boat, which makes them start to believe that there really was a village here. Finn's brother tries to lift the boat and bring it up to show their friends. But suddenly, a hand grabs his leg and pulls him down. Finn sees all this and tries her best to pull her brother up, but the grip of that hand is so strong that he can't come up. Then she quickly surfaces and gets help from their friends. But when she goes back down, her brother is already dead. Finn is completely shocked and saddened. What just happened? Suddenly, a cold, ghostly hand grabs her brother and drags him down into the depths of the lake. The screen cuts to 4 months later. Finn is finally brought home from a mental hospital. The terrifying truth? She had seen that hand, pulling her brother underwater, but no one believed her. Not her mom, not her dad. Everyone thought she was losing her mind, trapped in trauma. So, they sent her away for treatment. But now, she's back. Her dad, a powerful lawyer, is always buried in work, trying to hold the family together. Both parents are drowning in grief over their lost son, but they're desperately trying to move on, though the pain is still raw. Finn? She's broken. She stares at old photos of her brother, her eyes full of unanswered questions. "Mom," she asks softly, "did you go to his funeral?" Her mom's voice trembles as she answers, "We never found his body. So, we gathered some of his favorite things, his childhood essays, cards, even his shoes, and held a funeral with those." Finn looks at her, desperate. "Mom, I saw a hand pulling him down, taking him away." Her mom gently tries to soothe her. "Sweetheart, you're tired. Get some rest. Everything will be alright." But deep down, she doesn't believe a word. Later, when her mom steps into the bath, a chilling moment freezes her blood, a hand suddenly bursts out of the water, grabbing her wrist. She screams and spins around, but there's nothing. No one. Just eerie silence. Something has shifted. Maybe Finn was telling the truth all along. Haunted by doubt, her mom digs into the dark secrets of the lake online, discovering rumors of a curse. Strange, unexplained deaths have plagued this lake for decades. Suddenly, a cold hand brushes her shoulder. She jumps and spins around, only to find her husband standing there. "What are you doing?" he asks. She hides the truth, afraid he'll get angry. "Just looking for a job," she lies. He shakes his head. "You need to move on. We can't keep living in the past, for Finn's sake. We have to be strong." But that night, the nightmare returns. Finn dreams of her brother's drowning, the water pulling him under again and again. Meanwhile, her mom wakes to the sound of water dripping. She rushes to the bathroom, everything's dry. The tap's off. Then, in the kitchen, she sees it, the tap slowly turning on by itself, dripping, as if something unseen is watching them all. No one knows why. No one knows what comes next. She can't make sense of what's happening. Suddenly, a strange sound echoes from the swimming pool. Her heart pounding, the mom rushes over, and sees water leaking from the pool. She quickly tries to turn it off, but no matter what she does, the water keeps leaking again and again. Then, chillingly, a faint voice whispers through the air. "Mom, save me." She whirls around, and there he is. Her son. But he's not the boy she remembers. His body is decayed, his eyes hollow and desperate. He screams in agony. "Mom, please, save me." Fear grips her completely. The next morning, trembling, she tells her husband everything, the leaking water, the voice, the vision of their son. But he shakes his head coldly. It was just a bad dream. Nothing real. But she insists, voice trembling. "Dreams only happen when you're asleep. I was wide awake. I heard him scream. We have to find his body, only then will he be at peace. Didn't you hear him? Mom, save me. Why can't you understand? Her husband's face hardens. We searched that lake with the police for a week. We found nothing. Maybe you're losing your mind too, just like Finn. Don't drag me into this. I'm busy. I don't want to hear it. And with that, he storms out to work. Hidden nearby, Finn had been listening quietly. She steps forward, pleading. Mom, let's go to the lake ourselves. We'll find him. I'll help you. Please, say yes. At first, the mom shakes her head. You've just come back from the hospital. If you go near that lake again, you might get worse. But Finn's voice is steady, filled with determination. Mom, I'm fine. Every night, I see him in my dreams. Until we find his body and give him a proper funeral, neither of us will have peace. Trust me, I know exactly where he drowned. I'm sure we'll find him there. Finally, the mom nods. Together, they make their way to the lake, their old home nearby, memories flooding back with every step. They climb into a small boat, drifting toward the spot where the siblings had jumped in months ago. Finn points quietly. We jumped from right here. Then we swam a little farther and went down. Her mother takes a deep breath and says. Okay. You stay in the boat. I'll tie this rope around my waist and dive underwater. When I need to breathe, I'll come up. If I don't surface soon, or if the rope gets stuck, pull me up immediately. No hesitation. Understand? Finn swallows hard and nods. The tension is thick. The dark water awaits below, hiding secrets, and maybe something far more sinister. Finn nods, and the mom takes a deep breath before diving into the dark water. After what feels like an eternity, she surfaces to gulp in air, then begins swimming carefully around the spot Finn had pointed out. But no matter how closely she looks, she finds nothing. Breaking the silence, she asks, Are you sure, dear, this is the right place? Finn's voice is steady but tense. Yes, Mom. Keep going just a little further. You'll see a bicycle. Swim past that. The mom plunges back underwater. Soon, the rusted frame of a bicycle emerges from the murky depths, a grim confirmation they're in the right spot. She pushes onward and suddenly notices a large stone slab resting on the lake bed. Etched into its surface are chilling carvings of 3 bodies, twisted into unnatural, almost agonized poses, signs they were buried there long ago. One skeleton has a heavy chain wrapped tightly around its neck. The mom grasps the chain and starts to swim back up, but then, out of nowhere, a cold, bony hand shoots out and clamps onto her leg, dragging her down with terrifying strength. Panic rises in her chest as she yanks the rope tied around her waist. Above water, Finn's heart pounds, she grabs the rope and pulls with everything she's got. The grip loosens, and the mom bursts to the surface, gasping for air. But they're not alone. The corpse of their son floats up beside her, eerily pale and distorted after months underwater. The mom's breath catches, horror and heartbreak mingling as relief floods in that he has finally been found. They call the police and ambulance immediately. When the officers arrive, their faces pale in shock. One officer stares at the body and says, We searched this lake for a whole week. How did you find him in just one day? The mom looks at the chain in her hand and replies quietly. There's more. I saw the bodies tied to a stone slab under the water. This chain was around one of the skeletons. She hands the chain to the sheriff. The sheriff examines it carefully. This chain looks old, probably belonged to a family that lived in the village that was here before the lake was made. The family name is engraved here. There's an elderly woman from that family who still lives nearby. You should speak with her, she might know more. He pauses, lowering his voice. I've heard stories, that this lake is cursed. But who knows what's true? Determined to uncover the truth, the mom calls her husband. His voice is harsh on the other end. Why did you go to that lake? Didn't I tell you not to? But when she says softly, We found our son's body. His tone suddenly changes, he grows quiet, conflicted. Finn, now smiling faintly, looks at her mom and says, Thank God, Mom, maybe now everything will finally be okay. Then, with a hint of hesitation, she asks, But Mom, what are we going to do with this chain now? Her mom's eyes darken. Dear, we've only found your brother's body, but we still don't know how he really died. Determined, they decide to visit the old woman the sheriff mentioned. When the mom asks, So many people have died in this lake, can you tell us why this keeps happening? The old woman's expression hardens. She replies, People are foolish, that's why they drown. They don't know how to swim in deep water. They jump in for adventure and lose their lives. Finn shakes her head firmly. That's not true. My brother wasn't foolish, he was an excellent swimmer. I was with him. When we were underwater, I saw a hand grab his leg and pull him down. That's what killed him. And that's not all, I saw 3 bodies tied to a stone block. It looked like they were deliberately drowned. She pulls out the chain she recovered from one of the skeleton's necks. The old woman's eyes widen in shock when she sees it. This chain belonged to my grandfather, she says quietly. Yes, the man tied to the stone was her grandfather. She takes a deep breath and begins, We lived in the village that's now beneath this lake. I remember it well, our family was happy there. But then, a rich businessman arrived, intent on building a dam and flooding the area to create this lake. People said he'd gain great wealth and fame. He forced the villagers to leave. When there was no other choice, they abandoned their homes, their land, even the graves of our ancestors. But he didn't care. He used violence to drive us out. Those who resisted were killed. My grandfather was one of them. One day, he and 2 companions vanished without a trace. Now, hearing your story, I realized they were tied to that stone block underwater, and the water was slowly released, drowning them. The stone was so heavy, they could never reach the surface. She lowers her voice to a whisper, and even today, we're fighting in court to shut down that dam. Finn's eyes widen in disbelief. Wait, what? This happened almost 70 years ago. The businessman must be dead by now. So who exactly are you fighting against? The old woman's eyes darken as she explains, we're still collecting signatures to shut down the dam. We want to take the case to court, but no matter how hard we try, that rich man's family is so powerful, they keep crushing every case we bring. She leans in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. If the dam is gone, the lake won't exist either. And if the lake dries up, all the evil deeds he hid will be exposed, how cruel, how brutal he really was. Everyone will learn how many people were killed to create this lake. That's why his family fights so hard to keep the lake, and the truth, buried. She adds, there's a massive law firm behind this, working against us. We don't stand a chance. Then she names the firm. Finn and her mom freeze, because it's the law firm owned by Finn's own father. Stunned and shaken, they return home near the lake. Just then, Finn's dad arrives, his face tight with worry. Where have you 2 been? I've been looking everywhere. You look upset, what's going on? Her mom doesn't hesitate. Why is your law firm defending the dam? Why fight against the people trying to shut it down? He avoids her gaze. I don't know all the details, but we don't want the lake to dry up. That lake is important. She presses him harder. What's so important about the lake? He sighs, trying to sound reasonable. Look, the lake was made to prevent flooding in the city. When it rains too much, all the excess water flows there, keeping the city safe. Plus, it's a popular tourist spot. People love it. Finn's voice cuts sharp through the room. Those are just excuses. Excuses. You need to drop this case. Instead of defending the dam, you should be fighting to shut it down. Do you even realize how many people were killed to create that lake? She looks straight at him, her eyes cold. I saw 3 bodies with my own eyes, tied up and drowned when the water was released to flood the village. Those 3 died, but who knows how many more. Her father's face hardens. Come on. These are just rumors, stories people spread about powerful families. And if that lake disappears, so will our luxury. You probably don't realize it, but all the money we have, it's because of that lake. A heavy silence falls. The room feels colder somehow, as if the very walls are watching. At first, the mom doesn't understand. But then, her face drains of color as she learns the full, horrifying truth. The rich businessman who created the lake, the one who drowned the village, was Finn's great-grandfather, her husband's grandfather. Suddenly, everything clicks into place. Why her son died, and who is really responsible. That means his death wasn't an accident, it was revenge from the restless souls who have been burning with rage beneath the lake for decades. Tears streaming down her face, the mom turns to her husband and whispers, my son paid the price for your grandfather's sins. I lost my child because of your family. Those spirits couldn't get revenge on your grandfather, so they took it from his descendant, your great-grandson. But instead of remorse, the dad's face hardens with anger. The mom presses on, her voice trembling, because of your family's crimes, those souls are trapped in the lake, and that's why it's cursed. They are taking their revenge, drowning people, killing them. Suddenly, a chilling sound drifts in from outside. Finn stiffens, sensing a terrifying presence approaching. Then, without warning, the lights flicker and go out. The dad fumbles for his phone, but the line is dead. Peering through the window, they see a horrifying sight, ghostly figures rising from the lake, their forms writhing as they move toward the house. Mom and Finn freeze in terror. Even the dad's bravado crumbles. Oh God, that means, both of you were telling the truth, he breathes, his voice shaking with dread. The spirits close in, surrounding the house from every side. The dad tries desperately to fight them off, but it's useless. The spirits spare Finn and her mom, but they seize the dad, dragging him mercilessly toward the dark, waiting lake. Finn and her mom scream, tears streaming down their faces, but their cries are swallowed by the cold, silent night. Nothing can stop what's coming. The spirits tighten their grip, dragging the dad into the dark, murky depths of the lake. His desperate struggles fade away as he's pulled under. Just like that, another chapter in the long, vengeful story is sealed. Finn chokes out, what do we do now? Her mom's voice trembles but carries fierce resolve. We have to atone. These sins run deep, whether we knew or not. We're tied to this family's dark past, and now, we must fight. For justice. For the souls of those villagers who were stolen from this world. Finn shakes her head, fear creeping into her voice. But Mom, no matter how many petitions we sign, no matter how loud we shout, they'll never listen. The dam will never be torn down. Who would believe us, anyway? Her mom looks out toward the lake, eyes filled with sorrow, and something else, a fierce hope. The water is slowly receding. The rain has been scarce. Soon, the lake will dry up completely. And when it does, the buried truths will surface. The world will see, the cruelty, the injustice, the lives sacrificed for one man's greed. She turns back, gripping Finn's hand tightly. The bodies, the homes, everything beneath that lake will become undeniable proof. And when the truth comes to light, those restless souls will finally find justice. The curse will break. And at last, their spirits will find peace. A heavy silence falls between them. The air feels colder. Darker. And with that, the story ends, or maybe, it's only just beginning.